Joshua Williamson and Daniel Sampere rip apart the multiverse as Pariah begins assimilating more heroes into his infinite Earths, while Mr. Terrific comes up with a plan to turn Pariah's insanity on its master once and for all. Joshua Williamson takes us into the penultimate chapter of his Dark Crisis of Infinite Earth saga with lots of big action sequences and big character moments for all of the legacy characters, with Williamson using the final battle to further test these young characters, specifically Superman this issue, who will stop at nothing to make sure his friends have enough time they need to complete their plans. It's a very Superman thing to do, and not only that, a cool way to lay out some power scaling a little bit as he held his own against the likes of Darkseid, Doomsday, Necron, and many other big bads, all at once. The book also had a tension-filled race against the clock element to it, with Pariah's old machine being used to teleport him into his own dream world, which I thought was really quite poetic, that he was transporting other heroes into their own dream worlds when he didn't realize that doing that to himself would kind of get what he wanted. This of course is a great way to take Pariah off the board for the final act and bring in Deathstroke again, who doesn't give two shits about the whole multiverse or Great Darkness or anything, only wanting to kill the legacy characters and complete the mission he was hired to do. It's a fun reverse on what the usual crisis level event is, and I like that it's just Deathstroke just fighting the good guys. I think that's quite cool, and an interesting use of Deathstroke that he gets to be the main bad guy of a big crisis level event. Daniel Sampere again outdoes himself with just some top-notch cinematic action sequences. I loved how many characters from all over the DCU he was able to squeeze onto a page, and just his double page spreads this issue was just something I've never seen before. It just looked fantastic, and it all had a really great brilliant flow and pacing to it, really ratcheting up the tension in parts where it needed to be, especially the Superman's Last Stand pages where Clark comes in to save his son, which was just really well executed. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths issue 6 was a brilliant penultimate issue that was heavy on the action and cool character beats, offering up one last swerve in the storyline before the big finale that teases a big, fun ending to the series. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths issue 6 sees the Green Lantern Corps get a garbled message from Mr. Terrific, warns them of the Dark Crisis. The Lanterns can't discern what is happening, so they try and tell him that they are waiting for Hal and the others to get free from the darkness inside of Necron's lantern. Suddenly, hundreds of shadow demons flood out of the Black Lantern as on Earth. Superman and Nightwing lead the Titans against Darkseid and the Dark Army. Pariah proclaims that he has won and the true multiverse is restored, but Earth-Zero must die for the Infinite Earths to live on forever. He tells Slade that all he wanted to do was erase his original sin, but doubts he will ever escape that darkness. Slade demands to know why he's being subject to that same fate then, especially when he was promised the end of the legacy heroes, not the return of a bunch of worlds he doesn't care about. Pariah assures him that he'll get his way as soon as the heroes are gone, leaving Slade to return to the fight with Beast Boy, who is sick of Slade hurting his family. Garfield strikes Blade across the face, making the assassin impressed at his strength, but the last time when he shot Garfield, it was just a warning, but this time he will die and no one is coming to save him this time. On Pariah's base of operations, far away from Earth-Zero, Batman knows that there is a way out thanks to Pariah's influence spreading from out of the base despite him being trapped there. Flash doesn't think there will be a home for them to go back to as the Infinite Earths Pariah made are vibrating rapidly and they are bouncing off one another, and something that big doing that causes explosions that could send everything into darkness. He knows that he and Hal have a plan, and maybe Hal can use the light on his ring to connect them to the rest of the Green Lantern Corps and pull them back home, while Flash uses his own connections to the world to navigate the vibrations for them. Hal knows there isn't a guarantee it will work, and they might not all make it back, as Green Arrow knows that that's always how it's been, as every time the Justice League set out to save the world, they know that they could very well die. He knows that while he's the world's greatest archer, missing is always a possibility for him, and that won't stop him from ever taking the shot though. He knows every one of them would do the same and help strangers in need, and it's why they are the Justice League. However, Dinah knows he's only talking about himself, since Oliver wishes to stay behind to give the others a chance to escape. Dinah refuses to leave him, but Oliver knows that he'll always be there with her. He hopes no one else has any sad moments to offer, and knows that Hal and Barry have the team in good hands. The heroes combine their powers and cover the League in a bright light, as back on Earth, Darkseid rips Frankenstein in half as Black Adam tells Mr. Terrific that they are no match for the army. Michael tells him to shut up since Adam is in there while the Titans are out there putting their lives on the line, so who is he to judge them? Nightwing tries to help Roundhouse fight Pariah's control, but Ravager knows he lies, wondering how many students Dick has left behind now. Nightwing tells the woman that she isn't her father as Wonder Woman and Superman begin to be overrun by the Dark Army, needing more heroes to help. Jace Fox arrives, assuring Superman that this isn't a team-up, but he can't stand by while innocents are getting hurt. More heroes arrive and join the fray as Pariah gleefully knows that they will die to power his worlds. Pariah obliterates Firestorm, Steel, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, and Connor Hawk, creating more infinite worlds to fuel his power. He calls for his army to bring him more heroes as Mr. Terrific and Black Adam arrive at the scene with the old antimatter device. Michael knows that the multiverse is on the verge of being overrun by the Great Darkness, but Superman knows it's not actually the darkness, it's Pariah's own insanity which has infected the darkness. Michael wants to try and get the machine up and running so they can cut Pariah off from his power, but he needs some help. Jace knows that while his father and brother are the tech geniuses, he's picked up a thing or two from them and will help, as Pariah spots the machine, demanding his Dark Army get it for him. Wonder Woman knows that they know something Pariah doesn't now, and she can make him see the truth about the Great Darkness, but she needs some time to convince him with her lasso. John knows this is a job for Superman, speeding off to confront the army on his own, as Pariah knows the son of Superman's efforts will be in vain, wanting to see how the rest of the heroes fare in the worlds he created. Wonder Woman lassos Pariah up, compelling him to see the truth, and Pariah can't believe the voice in his mind was not the darkness, but his own insanity making him believe it was. He thinks that Yara is lying to him, freeing himself from the lasso and throwing her away as Superman is hit by Darkseid's Omega Beams. John remembers his father telling him that he wants to help make the S his own, and his mother telling him that he is the best of both worlds inside of him, and he can be great if he chooses to be. Superman fights on, but is still beaten down by the villains as Mr. Terrific and Batman finish work on the device, managing to power it up and fire it at Pariah, trapping him in a stasis field. Pariah suddenly sees his curse is over, seeing his world and his family as he is disintegrated, turned into his own infinite Earth. Superman meanwhile is beaten down one final time, and John thinks that he did it and bought his friends enough time. Black Adam races to help him but is pulled away by Lex and Grodd as Doomsday comes to kill Superman. John hopes that his father is proud of him as Clark appears, blocking Doomsday's fist. John grabs Doomsday's other hand before he can hit his father with it, hearing stories of the beast since he was a child, and he never again wants to hear them. The Supermen smash Doomsday away, defeating him as John collapses in his father's arms, knowing that his mother will be very happy he is back. Clark tells his son that he's done enough and he's kept things safe until they found their way home. Superman knows that it took a few detours, but they followed the light as the rest of the Justice League and the Green Lantern Corps arrive back home. The heroes battle through the Dark Army and Roy is reunited with Dinah, asking where Oliver is. Mr. Terrific contacts Alan Scott, telling him that the multiverse is still in danger, and Alan tells him that the darkness is still spreading and whatever Pariah started isn't fading away. Aquaman thinks that it's a race to see what kills them first, either Pariah's darkness or the infinite Earths. Zatanna wonders why the army is still possessed if Pariah has been dealt with, so Flash thinks that the darkness has gone into someone else as Deathstroke, now imbued with the full power of the Great Darkness, tells the heroes he doesn't care about the multiverse and the contract is a contract, and he is not done until they are all dead.